Oh, what's going on, everybody? All right, how you guys doing? Welcome to the Watchtower podcast. Glad you guys could be here. So yeah, it is Tuesday, and this is what we do on Tuesday. We get together and we go over some stuff that point to the signs, the so close of the return of our Lord and Jesus, Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So glad you guys could be here. Glad you guys could join me. This is episode 90, Under the Skin. Under the Skin. We've got some stuff to talk about as far as, well, under the skin. That'd be a little weird if I named it that and we didn't talk about that. So we're going to talk about that. So glad you guys could be here. Glad you guys could join me. This is going to be a packed show. When I planned this all out, I was not expecting to have this much information and this many notes. So hopefully you guys brought some snacks. Hopefully you guys are ready to listen to this stuff because it's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. And I have a massive eye twitch. I've had it all day, so I don't know what is going on with this eye, but it just feels like moving a lot. So, all right. Glad you guys could be here. Glad you guys can join me. I think we've already been over that. So, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at what's going on with you guys. Because, I mean, this is why I do it, so I can talk to you guys and fellowship with you as well. So let's take a look and see what is going on. I'm just, like I said, there's so many people now. I'm just going to go ahead and jump here in the middle, and we're going to start here. Jazz is in the house. What's going on, Jazz? Glad to see ya. And then we've got Viking Loves Jesus in the mosh pit with Hermie. That's a good place to be right there. Miss T, how's it going, Miss T? Always good to see you. Good to see you there. Sally, how we doing, Sally? Hope you're doing all right today. Hermie Elf is well, he was about ready to start throwing stuff. Do that in your own house, man. Don't damage anybody else's stuff. That's all I gotta say. Hey Kim, how's it going? Trish is here. Evil is abounding big time. Yeah, you got it right there. That's for sure. We got Liz W. What's going on? How's it going? We got Rod Hawkins. Good to see ya. We've got Farrah Austin is here. Not of This World is here. Carly is here. Watch out for the wrenches. The wrenches are dangerous people. We got Lori. How's it going, Lori? I believe, yeah, Canada. That's right. How are we doing? Hopefully Canada is, Canada's doing just about as good as everybody else or everywhere else in the world. So, hey, what's going on, Pierce? Good to see you, Pierce. We got Tom here as well. All right. So we're going to go ahead and call it right there. I can't get to all you guys. I apologize if you were not highlighted, but it is always good to see you guys. I'm glad you were here. So, okay, let's see here. I think we're about ready to get started, but first things first, we do have to take care of some housekeeping.
Housekeeping?
No, thank you. Sleeping.
Housekeeping?
All right, let's go ahead and get into what we got with housekeeping. Couple announcements going on, and yeah, I put out on Telegram and whatnot. I do have a special announcement I'm going to make. So first things first, though, if you can, like, share, and subscribe. Get this out to as many people as you can, and then liking and all that stuff does help with the YouTube algorithm. Hopefully that'll get it out to more people. Like I always say, it's not about butts and seats. It's not about views, but it is getting, it's about getting the gospel and the warning out to as many people as we can. So if you can, like, share, and subscribe, I would appreciate that. Definitely supports the channel that way. Also, follow me on Rumble, Odyssey, and Telegram. Those are my Rumble and Odyssey are my backup channels when the inevitable YouTube boot comes, because I'm just waiting for that to happen one of these days. I know it's coming. And then Telegram for all updates, little news snippets, funny stuff, hymns, and all that stuff. So follow me on there as well. And then, so as far as announcements go, the first announcement is next Tuesday, which would be the 4th, I believe. I believe it's the 4th, April 4th. I will be having Pablo from Serpents and Doves. He'll be joining me as a guest next Tuesday. We're going to be talking about, if you guys haven't heard, there's a book from the 50s, I think it's 1958, called The Naked Communist, where it breaks down how how to take over a country with communism, and that's something that's been applied in the United States as well as other countries out there. And what we're going to do is we're going to take some of those points, because there's like 45 of them, but we're going to take some of those points and then we're going to break it down on a more of a spiritual warfare level, about what's going to be what's going on right now, and that includes even the tragedy that just happened, the Nashville shooting. That does play a part. It's spiritual warfare, but it also has to do with some of the points in the Naked Communists. So we're going to go ahead and talk about that and all that stuff. So make sure you join us next Tuesday, because it's going to be good to have Pablo on for that. So yeah, it's going to be good times. I don't know if you guys saw when I was on Pablo's channel last Tuesday. People seem to like it when we're together. So we're going to try it again, see what happens. And then, so last announcement. This is the big announcement that I put on my Telegram. So, hate to break it to you guys, but after next Tuesday, it's all over. The show's over. I'm no, no. What's going on is I've been praying a lot for the Lord to show me the next steps with Wretched Watchmen. I've been praying for some stuff, and I believe, because there's been some changes going on in my personal life, I'm not going to get into that. There's been some changes going on with that, and with the crazy explosion of the channel that's happened in the past, I would say 2 months. I think the Lord is telling me to expand this out. So starting this Saturday, I was going to do it the next Saturday, but I'm just going to go ahead and do it this Saturday. We will be doing 2 shows a week. We're going to be expanding to 2 Watchtower podcasts a week. It's same time on Tuesdays. It'll be every Tuesday, same time. And then every Saturday, same time as well. So it'd be 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. So I think the Lord is doing that. I think he's pushing me in that direction. At least I believe that's what he's doing. So I'm going to go ahead and go with it. We're going to give it a shot. Wouldn't be doing this without you guys, without your support. So I appreciate that. I thank the Lord for all of you guys watching, that's for sure. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and do that. So next Saturday, or this coming Saturday, we're going to go ahead and start doing that. So 2 shows a week, Tuesdays and Saturdays. So that's what we got going on. Hopefully you guys will join me. I was talking to a couple people, and one of them was like, man, that would suck if you did a Saturday show and only like 10 people showed up. So that would be funny. So anyways, that's enough of that. Glad you guys, again, I appreciate all your support and all that stuff. So definitely, I thank the Lord for that. I definitely thank the Lord for that. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and get going into this, because like I said, we've got a lot of stuff to cover. So let's just go ahead and start off with some of the natural events that have been going on. This past week, there's been some earthquakes. So some of those will be, we had a 5.6 quake in Miyako, Japan, a 5.5 quake in the Kermadec Islands, New Zealand, 6.5 quake in San Antonio de los Cabres, Argentina. I don't know. I don't speak Italian. A 5.9 quake in Novabad, Tajikistan. 5.6 quake in Namuac, Philippines. Again, I do not speak Italian. 5.7 quake in Angoram, Papua New Guinea. 5.6 quake in Kavoy, Iran. 5.6 quake in I practice these, and then I forget them as soon as I need to do it live. Havululoto, Tonga, I think that's right. And then a 6.1 quake in Bala, Solomon Islands. And then just, I believe a couple hours ago, there was a 6.0 quake in Misawa, Japan as well. So some earthquakes rumbling. We got to keep an eye on those quakes to increase in not only numbers, but size, because we know those are going to be part of the birth pangs that are going on. And then as of Sunday, there are 45 volcanoes erupting. That's up from 2 from last week. So it was 43 last week, 45. 7 in North America, 6 in South America, 1 in Europe, 3 in Antarctica, 4 in Africa, 17 in Asia. Asia's really getting it, and then 7 in Oceania. So that's about it for natural events. We're just kind of just keeping track of trends and seeing what's going on as far as that goes. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead. I just want to make a little note of this. I'm not going to go in depth on it, but I do want to make a little bit of note because I've seen a couple things getting passed around. It's not huge, but a couple things getting passed around with the Iran nuclear stuff. It just seems like every time the United States comes out and starts talking about that, it starts sweeping the prophecy groups because I don't even know how to say it. It's just we've been hearing the same news for a long time, and then every time we hear that same exact news just a little bit later, everybody starts getting crazy and excited. So I do want to point this out. Okay, so in March, we're in March, but a couple days ago, I believe it was on the 23rd, we've got some new news coming out that said Iran could produce nuclear weapon in a matter of months. Senior defense official claims. That was March. That was a couple days ago, 23rd, I think. Well, if we go back to June of 2022, we've got something very similar. This is June 6, 2022. Nuclear Watchdog says Iran is a few weeks away from having a significant quantity of enriched uranium. That's in 2022. Let's go back a little bit further to February 2022. Iran weeks away from having enough material for a nuclear bomb. That was February 9th, 2022. Let's go back to February of 2021. Blinken, Iran could be weeks away from enough nuclear material for a bomb. That was February 1st, 2021. Okay. The point I'm trying to make with this, The point I'm trying to make with this is we've got to be careful, and I do this. I remind people every once in a while. I've been tricked into it too, so I'm not excluding myself. But we've really got to be careful on sensationalism and clickbait stuff. I can't count how many times. Those are just 4 going all the way back to 2021, where they're saying the exact same thing. Iran's only a couple weeks away. Iran's only a couple weeks away, and it's just we're seeing it. But every time I see that information come out, it's blown up into some big thing. So I just want to make sure everybody we have to keep calm, we have to keep level, and we can't start just overreacting. I don't want to say overreacting. My bad. Getting excited over stuff that really hasn't changed. So I just want to go ahead and throw that out there. Just want people to keep that in the back of their head. Make sure we're not falling into that, because as soon as that last one came out just a couple days ago, I started seeing a lot of people going, Iran's almost got a thing. Well, we've been hearing it since further back than 2021. That's just as far back as I've gone. So just a little reminder. Just want to go ahead and throw that in there. Just remain calm. Don't start flipping out on this stuff. It's important that we keep calm on that stuff. So all right, that's all I got. That's all I got on that. So, all right, let's get into the meat of this thing. Okay, how many of you people, I'm asking like I can see you raise your hand, but sure, go ahead, raise your hand if you have been watching what's going on in France as far as the protest goes and everything like that. I've kind of been paying attention to it. I've seen a lot of the videos. I don't have any videos to show, but I've seen some videos where the police and the protesters are beating each other up and dragging each other around, and smoke grenades and tear gas going off all over the place and all this stuff. I've even seen a couple of videos where people are literally sitting in a restaurant eating, and then right outside is cars on fire and stuff. It's almost like something out of a movie. Ever since I saw what was going on with this, I had to look into it. Something wasn't sitting right. And so I was looking into it, and because the thing is, they're saying, oh, this is because of the pension reform thing. I don't know. So let's just go ahead and get into this. So France is in complete chaos and protests right now. They're still going on, but they're claiming it's due to pension reform. Again, this doesn't sit right. So what has been going on with this pension reform is they're raising the retirement age from 62 to 64. So they're literally raising the age up 2 years. And the controversial part of this, and even I will say this is bad, Macron used Article 49.3, which is a thing from their constitution where it allows them to bypass a parliament vote. So he was able to push through this without even have a parliament vote. That's what's going on with that. But this is not making sense. You're raising the pension rate from 2 years, 62 to 64, but everybody that you're seeing out there protesting and everything like that is a bunch of 20 and 30-year-olds. Again, something's not right there. So after the pension review, the pension reform stuff excuse, I'm also seeing another excuse that it's built up from the lockdowns. Well, I have to say no to that because, if you remember, during the lockdowns, France was also in mass protest and all the same stuff was going on. So you can't say that it's all built up from the lockdowns. No, they already got all that out during the lockdown. So again, something's not making sense. There's controlled actors at play. We see this globally. We see this stuff going on. If you want to take it in the homeland here, we had the BLM riots and all that stuff. There's actors involved. So I did a little digging, and I'll tell you what, this was a pain in the butt because I do not read French. And to find this information, I had to go into French websites and then transfer over to Google Translate. And anyways, I found something that I think is interesting. So back on November 10th of 2022, the French government ordered all weapons and ammo to be returned to the state in which roughly 4 million munitions were brought in. Yeah, France does actually have weapons, even though they're very strict on them. They're still out there. But what they did is they ordered people to return all weapons and ammo, and they ended up getting roughly about 4 million munitions from this. That was November 10th. Then what followed on December 20th was an order by Macron for 10 million tear gas canisters for an estimated 38 million euros. So right after, about a month after, they ordered everybody to return their weapons, they then put in a giant order for tear gas canisters. Looking a little interesting. If we look at the title of this order document, it's precise in its terms, stating to supply law enforcement grenades and accessories intended for the services of the National Police and the National Gendarmerie. I don't know how to pronounce that, but they're high up type of authority figures. So the order form specifies propulsion, smoke, and tear gas grenades along with all their timers and caps and all the accessories and stuff that goes along with it. This is by far the largest order the state has placed in years. I mean, I looked back to 2017, I think it was 2017, and the largest order like this was only 5-point-something million euros. So you go from 5-point-something million to 38 million euros. They were preparing for something. They knew something was coming, and you can't tell me it was pension reform. That doesn't add up. The tender on the order, so remember, November 10th, 2022, they ordered all weapons. The tender on that order was opened November 11th, 2022. The day after they ordered everybody to bring their weapons in, they opened the order tender for the 10 million tear gas canisters. They were preparing for this. They had this planned out. We've been seeing that a lot. I know I may sound like a broken record when they say, oh, it's all planned out. Well, I'm telling you, this was planned out. They knew it was coming. So that tender was opened on November 11th, 2022, the day after the weapons grab, and it was to close January 10th, 2023. So it looks like they got it all paid off and they got their musicians. Again, they were prepared. The thing is why? I don't have the answer for that. As much as I scoured the French news websites, I don't have an answer for that. I'm waiting for for resolve just as much as you guys, but obviously they wanted something to happen in this magnitude of what's going on with there, because it's not looking too good there. Keep in mind, because I know a lot of people are, it could be people are fed up with the corruption and stuff like that. Again, I'm not buying that, but keep in mind that Macron was handpicked and groomed by the WEF mastermind Jacques Attali. That's a name that I haven't talked about in a while. A lot of people want to talk about Klaus Schwab, but one of the main architects along with Klaus is the French dude Jacques Attali. I may do another dive into him again as a refresher, because I think the last time I talked about him was a long time ago when I didn't have many people watching. So I may do that. But keep in mind, Macron is a handpicked guy, and we've seen them interchange their handpicked people before. So don't be surprised if all of a sudden Macron is removed. I'm not saying he's going to be, but I'm just saying if he just all of a sudden gets removed, well, they're done with him, at least in that position. So all this stuff's planned out. All this stuff is under their control right now. So they're all puppets. That's something to keep in mind. But as far as why they're doing it, I don't know. All I know is all this information connects the dots to me that it's not about pension reform. It's not about built up lockdown rage. It's about they planned it and they wanted this to happen for a specific reason. So that's the conclusion that I have come to as far as that goes. I don't know why I'm talking in this voice. It's not even French. I should have been talking in a French. Okay, I'm done with that. Okay, so that's what I got as far as that goes. Viva la revolution, I guess. I don't know. I'm losing my mind, guys. Lord Jesus, please come soon. All right, so we're going to go ahead and switch over to what's going on with the JP Morgan stuff. I know a lot of people know what's going on with this. Several guys talked about it. I know JD talked about it. I know somebody else talked about it. I can't remember, though. But we're going to go ahead and talk about it now, just in case anybody missed it. So, if you didn't know, JP Morgan announced their pilot for a biometric payment system, which is part of their Commerce Solutions program. This features palm and face identification for paying. Now, we've seen this before. This isn't something new. The fact that JP Morgan is doing it is definitely worth paying attention to. But we have seen this before. I've played a couple of videos before. We're going to go ahead and just so you have an idea of what's going on with this. So let's take a look at, first of all, China, because China has this. China's got the Palm Pay. China's got the Face Pay. China's even got staffless stores, which is not just China. The UK's got these. Canada's got a couple of them. Mexico's got a couple of them. You'll see what I mean. This is what's going on as far as the biometric pay and all that stuff in China. Let's see what they got.
我第一次看到这样的店，无人售货店。我看看怎么进去的哈。我按下这个门就进来了。我看一下，还要输入手机号。
人脸识别，请看向屏幕，禁止吸烟，谢谢您的配合。
哦，进来了。哦，付钱让自己扫。这无人售货店品种还怪齐全的。
请在您的手机完成付款。
然后出去也是按这个门，然后也要人脸识别才能出去。哦，你看，门开开了。
All right. So we saw in the first clip where the guy was paying for his thing with he just scanned his palm, and that was it. No need for a card, no need for cash, no need for phone, none of that stuff. You just scan your palm and go. Then on the second one, you saw a staffless store. How that works is you saw the whole procedure there. So what she did is she walked in, she set up her account, she made her PIN, scanned the thing on her phone, scanned her face, everything like that, set it up. And then what she did is she walked into the store and utilizing the Internet of Things technology, the cameras and the sensors picked up exactly what items she picked up, and she just walked into the box, scanned her face, and walked out. It recognized what items she wanted and charged her account via scanning her face. That's what's going on in China. Mexico's got the same thing. Canada's got the same thing. UK's got the same thing. I don't know if the US has it. I don't know if Australia has it, but I do know that those places do have it. I've seen confirmation on that. So there's more of the biometric pay, and there's even staffless stuff. You want to talk about AI and the Internet of Things taking jobs away? Well, there you go. Let's take a look at this one. I've played this one before. I still don't know where this is, but it's a vending machine where you pay with your face. I know China's got them, but I don't think this is China. Check this out.
So guys, the technologies are everywhere. So let's get some water with this machine. For example, we get some... What would you like to drink? Let's get some water simply. You press this one. No phone, no cash required. Simply press, scan your face and get your bottle of water.
请面向屏幕。
It's coming! Thank you! That's so convenient. The first time I see such a machine without any devices to pay. Wow.
All right, so we got that. The reason why I'm confused on that is I'm seeing Chinese writing, but it could just be a foreign visitor. I don't know. Either way, I can confirm because I've seen other videos. China does have the same thing too. So vending machines even. Just scan with your face. She even said it. No cash, no card, no phone, none of that. You just scan your face and you're good to go. Now, the big one that's hitting the United States big time is the Amazon One, which we've known this was coming for several years now, and it is being rolled out. Stores are adopting it and stuff like that. They've got the Amazon where you sign up for it, and you scan your palm and you pay that way. Well, Amazon's also got the just walk out technology, which is basically like a staffless store. You've got the Internet of Things technology that goes through. I think just a couple of minutes ago I said that I don't know if the US has it. Well, apparently they do because I just remembered. Wow, get the hamster back on the wheel. Let's go, boy. So this is the Amazon just walkout technology. It's in an airport. Yeah, check this out. So yeah, that's the Amazon walkout store that they've got in several airports where you sign up for it and then you scan your palm, walk in, grab your stuff, scan your palm, walk out, and that's that. You can also do it with your phone. They've got the ones for the palm, and then they've got the ones for the QR code on your phone, so you can do it either or. But there's no staff there. You just walk in, get what you want. All the stuff scans it, and you walk right out. The thing is this technology, this biometric stuff, we're getting to the point where you can't escape it. I know if you want to get some stuff from the IRS website, a lot of the times they make you do a biometric scan. There's even some stuff where, like on Uber and whatnot, to confirm your account, they make you do a biometric face scan and all this stuff. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. And it's only going to start getting more and more everywhere. I don't know how else to put that. That was terrible English, but there's no other way to put it. So this is what's coming, or it's already here, actually. But JP Morgan is looking to get the big bank, the big globalist bank, on board with the same type of deal. So they claim, JP Morgan's claims that global biometric payments, this is interesting. As Christians, this should get some alarms going off here. JP Morgan claims that global biometric payments are to reach 5.8 trillion with 3 billion users by 2026. 3 billion. Now, a lot of people might thinking, we need more time to advance the technology and for more people to join on. Well, as a Christian, I'm sitting there going, more than half of the current population isn't accounted for in this. So my thought is are they really technically projecting for a lot of people to be gone in some way? Death or vanishing. It's just something that I noticed. I think it's very interesting because, again, a lot of people might look at that and go, oh, again, they're just waiting for more people to sign up. Looking at the times that we're in and the timeline that they put on this, I don't know. It sounds like they're planning for a lot of people to be gone. So just something to think about. JP Morgan also boasts that they plan to bring they are the largest global merchant acquirer as well. So this counts for basically JP Morgan owning the finances of businesses globally. So you're talking about JP Morgan, who's ready to bring in this biometric payment system. At the same time, they're also the ones that are buying up all of the accounts of all the stores out there. That's also something to keep in mind. This pilot is set to begin in select U.S. retail stores and the Formula One Miami Grand Prix. A successful pilot will then start rolling out extensively in 2024. So they're talking about next year. If this pilot goes well, it's going to start rolling out a lot bigger in a lot more places. So again, if you don't know, a biometric scan is you scan, how they plan on doing it is you scan the items, then you scan your face or your palm, just like out of Revelation, Mark of the Beast, pay with your hand or your palm, or your hand or your forehead, and then done. You just walk out that way. So we're seeing more and more progression towards that coming Mark of the Beast. And they're going to be testing this year and then possibly roll out next. That's pretty big. JP Morgan says the Commerce Solution Program is a one-door platform for all payment systems, including the increasingly popular digital wallets and biometric payments. So they're, at the same time that they're talking about this, they are promoting the digital wallets. If you want a CBDC, you're going to need a digital wallet. You don't need a digital wallet for biometric payment. You can just hook up a regular bank account, but we know that that's not going to last much longer. They're going to be switching over to that CBDC. So it's pretty big. It's pretty big. So this is what's going on as far as JP Morgan getting their hat into the ring on this. This is important to pay attention to because, like I said, we're seeing the biometric payment stuff already rolling out. But it's important to pay attention to because JP Morgan is one of the big global elite banks, and they're throwing their hat in, and my, oh my. My, oh my. Now, playing into this, there's a new U.S. bill coming into place. It involves what you own, your money, all the technology involved surrounding it. You'll see what I mean when we get there. There's a new bill coming into play. Now, again, like I can see, raise your hands if you've heard the recent news about how they're trying to ban TikTok. Yeah, we're going to talk about TikTok again real quick. There's an extensive thing where they're talking about a ban TikTok bill. Well, that's what this bill is. It's called the Restrict Act. It's called the Restrict Act. I put it in my Telegram, and I believe this is probably the most dangerous bill in U.S. history. And I'm not trying to exaggerate that in any way. This changes everything. This changes everything. So the Restrict Act. The fight against TikTok is not actually against TikTok. They're using TikTok as a way to put it out to the public, to distract them, to blind them to what this bill actually is. They want you to believe that it's about TikTok and distract you while bringing in the most dangerous bill in U.S. history. And this Restrict Act is the Patriot Act on steroids and a case of Red Bull. There's really no other way to put it. This thing is dangerous. This thing is dangerous. The Restrict Act grants the U.S. government authority over all forms of communication. I'm going to say that again. The Restrict Act grants the U.S. government authority over all forms of communication, domestic or abroad, and grants powers to, and this is what it says, enforce any mitigation measure to address any risk to national security now and in any potential future transaction. So this act will grant the U.S. authority over all forms of communication, both domestic and abroad, so foreign and domestic, and then it will enforce any mitigation measure to address any risk to national security and the possible future. So they're not just talking about now, but they're talking about in the future. So let's go ahead. Let's dissect this thing a little bit and dissect this beast. I'm going to use that word specifically. This is huge, guys. And just to let you know, this is being supported by both the left and the right. This is getting supported by both the Dems and the Repubs. So don't think this is just one or the other. No, this is both. I told you, don't fall into the game. Don't fall into the game. Because when you say it's a TikTok ban bill, and the Republicans put it out that way, everybody goes, yay! Same thing on the Dem side. So just keep that in mind. This bill, let's dissect it. This bill states action against foreign entities. It specifically says foreign entities. But by accordance with the Patriot Act, anyone deemed a threat to critical infrastructure can be designated as a domestic terror threat and ultimately recognized as a foreign entity, granting power to the Restrict Act. So this thing works in tandem with the Patriot Act. And how this works is the Restrict Act only works for foreign entities, but if you are deemed a threat to national critical infrastructure, you then become a domestic terrorist, which is considered a foreign entity by the Restrict Act. That's how that kicks in. I hope that makes sense. So, we know we've seen a bunch of different things over the past year as far as this goes. If you remember the past few years where things like parents opposing school board decisions and people spreading misinformation were officially classified as domestic terror threats. You see where this is going? If you're a parent at a school board meeting that is opposing CRT teaching or alphabet stuff, you are officially, by the Homeland Security, deemed a domestic terror threat, which you then become a foreign entity to the Restrict Act. Same thing with spreading misinformation. We talked about that a couple years ago. I think it was also the Department of Homeland Security said anybody who is spreading misinformation or disinformation or anything like that, you are now considered a national security threat. Well, now you become a foreign entity according to the Restrict Act. Does that make sense? That's how this is going. So what happens next? Now we understand that anybody that they don't like pretty much will become a national security threat, and now they fall under the Restrict Act. So what happens next? If deemed a national security threat, they get access to everything. And when I say everything, I'm talking about past, present, and future. Straight from the bill. I pulled it straight from the bill. Let's go over this thing. If you're deemed a national security threat, they get access to everything. What is everything? That includes software, hardware, or any other product or service, telecommunication products and services. We're talking wireless networks, mobile networks, satellite payloads, satellite operations and control, cable access points, wireline access points, core networking systems, long, short, and backhaul networks, edge computer platforms. It's also branches into internet hosting services, cloud-based or distribution computing and data storage, machine learning, predictive analytics, and data science products and services, including those that the provision of services to assist a party utilize, manage, or maintain open source software, managed services, and content delivery services. If you have anything in any of those categories, they get access to it. We're not done. List keeps going. Page 2, here we go. Desktop applications, mobile applications, gaming applications, payment applications, or web-based applications, information and communications technology products, services integral to AI and machine learning. Okay. Future, here we go. They're already locking down anything that you might have that's quantum computing. We're talking about quantum key distribution, quantum communications, quantum computing, post-quantum I can't say that word. You can read it. Autonomous systems, advanced robotics, biotechnology, synthetic biology, computational biology, and e-commerce technology services, all that stuff. That's straight from the bill. That's straight from the Restrict Act. If you are deemed a national security threat, they have access to anything that you have on any of those things. Your phones, computers, bank accounts, Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, stock exchange, anything, your gaming applications, your digital, anything. And then they've even got the future in there when they switch it over to quantum, because we know they're going to need quantum computing to get this beast system running properly, like global scale. If you have anything involved with that, they can get that too. So, what do they get access to if you're deemed a national security threat? Everything. The Act also allows the Director of National Intelligence and the Secretary of Commerce to universally designate new foreign adversaries without notifying Congress, and a 15-day window to notify the president. So we're talking about people who are not voted in. They are chosen by ringleaders. Will have the ability to deem anybody a foreign adversary. They do not have to go through Congress, and they get 15 days to inform the president that they did it. They're not asking the president. They will inform the president. Sounded good? Sounded good? Yeah. To overturn the designation of foreign adversary, a joint resolution of Congress is required. So Congress isn't needed to create a foreign adversary, but you need joint resolution by the Congress to get them off the list. It's amazing how that works, isn't it? Now, once a citizen is classified a national security threat and a foreign entity the bill grants authority to enforce any action deemed necessary to mitigate the threat with no due process and very few punishment limits. So once detained without due process, to eliminate the immediate threat imposed, so when you're an immediate threat, once you're detained without due process, punishments can range from $1 million fines to 20 years in prison to literally forfeiting every possession you own, physical and digital. This is the precursor to controlling everything. Social credit, CBDC, 15-minute cities, all of it. This bill will cover all of it. And if you practice the slightest thing as wrong think, they can take every last thing you have. Just like that. Just like that. Keeps going. This bill also includes unlimiting hiring of enforcements, like agents and stuff. So unlimited hiring of enforcement with absolutely no budget, unlimited funding, and limited to no oversight or review, and complete, here we go, complete immunity to the Freedom of Information Act. The last thing that we've got that actually stands in our favor. This thing is immune from it. So the bill refers to transactions. We saw in the thing future transactions. What does this bill deem a transaction? That's important that we understand the wording. What does that mean? The bill, according to the bill, transaction is considered anything by anyone, according to the bill. So if you do anything, that is considered a transaction according to the bill. It's that simple. It's that simple. This is the Restrict Act. This is the Patriot Act on steroids and an entire case of Red Bull. This thing is supported by both parties. It is being pushed through and advertised as a TikTok ban bill, when in actuality, this is a we're going to take full control of everybody and everything bill. Including, because I just want to throw this in there, because I know there's some people that are like, Bitcoin fixes it. No, Bitcoin doesn't fix this. They've got that on lock. And if you think Bitcoin is some freedom type of thing, no, they created Bitcoin. They created Bitcoin. It's not what people think. That's the Restrict Act, guys. This is man, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. So we need to watch and see what's going to happen with this thing. It's been introduced. I don't think they voted on anything yet that I know of. They could have, but from what I saw, I don't think so. But I know it's been introduced. So that's the Restrict Act. You guys all happy? I just want to point out, I know that sounds absolutely horrific, which it is, but we're not going to have to worry about that. As believers, we're not going to have to worry about that. This is in preparation for what's coming in the tribulation. This is in preparation for the coming beast system that's coming into play. We may see it, passed and signed and whatnot, but we don't have to worry about this. For those who still have their souls trapped here on earth, they're the ones, that's what this bill is for. Our saving grace, just like how it beat the law, the Jewish law, beats this law as well. That's Jesus. He beats this. He beat the old law. He beats the current law. And he'll beat this law. And it's important that we understand that. When we're in these times, we are told to encourage each other. And it's important that we continue to encourage each other by saying, no matter how bad this bill looks, no matter how bad the bill is, which it is, Jesus beats this law. Jesus beats all the laws. If some people want to look at that and go, man, that's simple. That's too simple. Well, The gospel is simple. The gospel is simple because he tells us we need to have a childlike faith. And having that childlike faith in our Savior, Jesus Christ, beats all these laws. So it's important that we understand that. Just want to stop here and make sure people get that, because I know we can go through all this stuff and see how bad and scary and imposing this stuff is, but you know the old saying of my daddy can beat your daddy? My God can crush anything that you throw at him. That's simple. So it's important that we understand that as long as he holds our souls, which I pray that everybody here does, that he does, we got nothing to worry about. We got nothing to worry about. So it's important that we understand that. Falling in line with this, talking about biometric pay, talking about this bill that can control all physical and digital things that you own. Well, they're reaching even further in another direction to expand the overlord power. And this is for introducing digital ID. And it's about eliminating online, I cannot say this word, like some people can't say aluminum, I can't say this word, but it's to make sure that you are not anonymous online. Anonymity, I can't say it, we're just going to say anonymous online. So, what am I talking about? This is an agenda as far as online verification and eliminating people being anonymous online. This is part of the WEF agenda that has been being pushed for several years. If you look at Twitter, Meta, Instagram, all this stuff, Facebook, everything like that, they've been implementing soft versions of it via their verification badges. We've talked about this the past couple weeks. We've talked about it for about a month now. But they've been kind of doing that with their verification badges. Something else to keep in mind, I just want to throw this out there. I know a lot of people like Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson has also ranted multiple times online about getting rid of online anonymity. He's gone off on several rants, childlike rants, to be honest. There's some video of it. Where he wants people to be restricted entirely from social media unless they use a real name and photograph and whatnot. So Jordan Peterson's kind of online with what the WEF agenda wants here. Something to keep in mind. I know a lot of people are also saying Jordan Peterson's kind of talking like a Christian lately. If you go back and you listen to, it wasn't that long ago, but if you go back and listen to his interview with Joe Rogan, he's kind of talking a lot about Gnostic stuff. He's not talking about Christian stuff. He's talking about Gnostic stuff. So something to just keep in mind, because I know a lot of people follow him. Don't follow him for spiritual stuff, just a recommendation. But he's also kind of been pushing this online thing as well. Well, as far as this goes, several states are now introducing interesting ways to push this agenda. And this is where the game comes into play a little bit on this, because some of the states are conservative states, and it's some Republicans that are putting these bills through, and they're doing it in a way where they can get conservatives on board with them. This is where the game comes in. If they want to push the agenda forward, they have to do it in a creative way to get their team on their side. That includes the left side as well. They have to get creative to do this. And so what they're doing as far as these online anonymity, I can't say the word, bills, they're doing it by protecting the kids. Now, I'm all for protecting the kids, but that's the parents' job. That's not the government's job. Keep in mind, being anonymous online is what it was a fundamental feature of being on the internet. That's one of the perks of having the internet, is you don't have to be yourself on there. You can protect yourself on there and still get done what you need to get done. Yeah, there's trolls and stuff like that. That's just how it's going to go. Just got to deal with it. Well, let's go ahead and talk about some of these. So there's the introduction of the Mature Act, which stands for Making Age Verification Technology Uniform, Robust, and Effective. The goal is to prevent minors under 16 from accessing social media. So they want to restrict anybody under 16 from accessing social media. As we know, social media is a swamp. It is a serpent's viper pit, however you want to put it. It's nasty in there. I get it. That's why I got rid of pretty much everything that I've got on social media. But this is not how you do this. But they're using that as a way to get support for this thing. This is what I call a babysitter law. I've used this term for many years. I call them babysitter laws. What that means is taking power and decision making away from parents and or the person. I consider babysitter laws things like seatbelt laws, helmet laws, stuff like that, where it should be entirely up to the person or the parents to make that decision. It should not be a law. That imposes on the freedom, and that's what I call a babysitter law. Yeah, I don't think there should be seatbelt laws and stuff like that. It should be the person or the parent's decision. That's where I stand on it. The Mature Act is just like that. The Mature Act, this is where the agenda starts coming into play. The Mature Act would require age verification before access by all users. This isn't about just kids. No, this would be everybody, which would require your legal name, date of birth, and a copy of your government-issued ID. So to access social media, you would have to give over your ID and your identity to do it. You're basically essentially creating a digital ID doing so. Utah is also pushing something similar, but without the ID parts. It was signed on March 23rd, so it was actually just signed not too long ago, and it will go into effect on December 31st, 2023. So next year, it will officially be in place where all people in Utah to access social media will have to prove your identity. Yeah. They said, since they're talking about you won't have to scan your ID, they are talking about how you may, I'm not sure what they're going to do yet. I don't think they've announced it, but they're saying to, verify who you are. They're throwing around facial recognition and existing consumer data. So they are considering using facial recognition to even access social media. Yeah, all in the name of protecting the kids now. Remember that. There's more. Louisiana, and this is where, just roll with me for a second. Louisiana now requires all adult websites to verify users' age with an ID. Okay, I'm with you. The websites are disgusting. They shouldn't be there. But they're using that as a way to get everybody to verify themselves online. This is what I'm talking about. There is a very interesting game to play here, and this is part of it. This is what I'm talking about with this. The law took place December 31st, so it's already in play in Louisiana now. This is exactly what they're wanting. Pay attention to these numbers now. Took place December 31st, and the daily average of downloads of the Louisiana LA wallet, which is their digital wallet, digital ID, went from roughly 1,200 a day to, when this thing went into effect, over 5,000 a day. So because of this law, the average number when this thing took over went from 1,200 to 5,000 people signing up for a digital ID wallet a day in Louisiana. That's what they're doing with this. This is the game that they're playing. Arkansas is following suit with age verification with the possibility of a digital ID extension. Even though Arkansas doesn't have a digital ID yet, they are preparing to get one involved. And so Arkansas is now going to be following suit with adult websites. So guarantee when that digital ID comes out, you're going to start seeing those numbers jump as well. People are voluntarily signing up for this stuff because of what they're doing with this. This is all part of their plan. It's not going to be one giant sweep. They're going to do it in little pieces like this. Twitter badge, Facebook verification, access to an adult website, all this stuff. This is what they're doing, or keeping kids safe and off social media. This is what's going on. Texas, you want to talk about conservative? Texas introduced 2 bills similar where age verification with digital ID or a government ID will be required to enter all websites that contain at least 1/3 adult content. They're also doing the same thing. Digital ID, government ID, scan it in, lose your freedom of being anonymous, and join the digital club. This is the game that they're playing. This is how they're pushing everything through. While the idea of protecting kids from this stuff is good in theory, yes, parents need to protect their kids from this stuff. It's not the government's responsibility. The parents need to be parents. But that falls in line with culture change. Pablo and I will talk about it next Tuesday. That's going to be part of what we're going to be talking about. But this is how they do it. You destroy the family, you start introducing things like this, and it just keeps rolling and rolling and rolling. It's a giant snowball. Parents' responsibility, and the game is being played to incorporate the WEF agenda. This is all about incorporating that WEF agenda. They announced that this is what they want. They want all the online anonymous stuff to be gone. And they're going to be doing it in little places like this. It's not just the United States, though. I know a lot of people might thinking, well, that's only the U.S. What about other places? Well, let's jump across the pond, shall we? It's not just in the United States, but Macron over in France has been working on a social media ID plan for several years as well. This is also something that they've been working on. And just this past February, there was more discussion about introducing age verification to even access things like Instagram and Facebook to adult websites. So they're talking about a broad sweep over in France to do online verification as well. UK, let's go over to the UK. UK is doing something similar, but in a different way. Not age verification, so they're taking a different twist on this, but it's still the same thing. They're not doing an age verification, but companies would block and delete anyone deemed anonymous via the online safety bill. So they're not talking about, oh, you don't need to verify yourself. No, if you are deemed anonymous, we will block and delete you from even accessing it. Really now? Really? That's the online safety bill. That's in the UK. Again, the game, by tugging at the heartstrings and using children, full countries are implementing systems that will connect everybody to a digital profile. I know a lot of you guys are getting tired of me saying this term, but say it with me now. It's your digital twin. It's your digital twin. It's preparation for the social credit system, for the digital ID. And when you have things like the Restrict Act, you don't have anywhere to hide at that point. If you are no longer anonymous online, if you have wrongthink, they take everything. You guys want 1984. There's 1984. But remember, for us, for those who have Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior, we don't have to worry about this, because this is coming for the mark of the beast that we know is in Revelation, that's going to be coming after the rapture. We don't have to worry about this. We've got Jesus. That's what matters. But as Christians, as watchmen, what we need to do is we need to continue to watch for these things, these signs that point to the direction of the development of these things, because we know we're that much closer. Guys, we are that close. We are in the season. We will not know the day or the hour, but we will know the season of his coming. He's coming very soon, guys. He's coming very soon. So, yeah, doesn't that sound great? So that's what I'm talking about as far as I know, here we go with this again, but this is part of the game that they play. And I try to tell people what's going on. They will use any means necessary on their side, two wings, same bird. They will use any means necessary to get things through that fit the agenda that they need to do. So in this case, they're using kids, the protection of kids, to bring in the WEF agenda. It works for the conservative side because my children, I must protect my children. Yes, you must protect your children, not them. But they're going to use that to their advantage to get this stuff through. This is the game and how it's played. This is the game and how it's played. You know, some people are playing chess while other ones are over there gnawing on the pieces of a checkerboard. Never mind. All right. You guys doing all right? You guys doing okay? I know that's a lot of information, a lot of stuff throwing it out there. We've got one more thing to talk about, but this is 7th inning stretch time right now. This is 7th inning stretch, so stretch it out. You guys ready? All right, we're on the home stretch. Let's talk about this thing called ARPA-H or HARPA. They're the same thing. So when I go through this, I may say ARPA-H or I may say HARPA. They're the same thing, so don't get confused by that. It's just sometimes I may throw something out. So let's talk about this. This is the under the skin section as far as this goes. So about 2 weeks ago, ARPA-H or HARPA, don't get those confused. They're the same thing. About 2 weeks ago, they announced their first 4 focus areas for funding. And don't worry if you don't know what this thing is. We're going to go through all this, so just hang in with me. They announced their first 4 focus areas for funding. Each one is connected to the Internet of Bodies system. Remember, Internet of Bodies is just an arm off of the Internet of Things technology. So as far as the Internet of Things, our body is considered a thing to that. So the Internet of Bodies is considered part of the Internet of Things. That's how that works. Their focus areas include genetic engineering. Oh, that should scream right off the bat right there. Vitamin development, code word vitamin development. Tissue regeneration, and AI-enabled health surveillance, data collection, and analysis. So we got genetic engineering, we got vitamin developments, we've got tissue regeneration, and we've got AI-enabled health surveillance, data collection, and analysis. Oh my, dystopian right off the bat. To make sure you guys don't have to just listen to me lecture so much, here's a little video that HARPA put out about what they're doing. Pay attention now. Doesn't that sound delightful? Yeah, I'm teary-eyed. The future of healthcare is here. It's going to save us. No, it's actually going to kill everybody. That's what it is. Yeah, you saw the stuff that's going on. They're talking about surgery through pills. You're talking about curing cancer through vitamins, AI, virtual. It's horrific. If you know what's going on, if you know all the conspiracy theories out there, you know what's going on. What they're talking about in that video is horrific, down to the core bad. That's what they're talking about. So we know they're announcing funding for 4 areas that fall right in line with the Internet of Bodies, Internet of Things, exactly what's going to be coming with all that stuff. What is ARPA-H? What is it? While it's being promoted as an agency to end cancer, in actuality, it's DARPA for health. You know DARPA, the Defense thing where they're doing all this also horrific things for the military and domestic stuff and all the stuff that they're doing. This is the health version of DARPA. That's what this is. It's a high-risk, high-reward agency centered on medical, built similar to DARPA. So DARPA is the same thing. They're the high-risk, high-reward type of thing. They do all the stuff that all the other underlings don't even touch. They're the ones that try and advance things as quickly as they do. Well, that's what HARPA is for medicine, quote unquote. Its goal is to combine national security and health security. Here we go with national security again. You guys sensing a theme through all this? Everything's about security. When they say peace and security, sudden destruction will come upon them. I wonder where I've read that from. Oh, that's right. It's in the Bible. That's never once been wrong, that continues to tell us that all this stuff is coming. It's amazing how that works. Systems would connect the user in the name of health that would monitor biometrics and brain wave data. Biometrics and brainwave data. This may sound familiar because this is what Nita Farahani has been pushing recently with the WEF, talking about reading brain data and utilizing pre-crime analysis and even things as neuropathically sending pain to people, distributing pain neuropathically to people. That's why I keep bringing her name up, because I don't want people to forget her. I want people to remember her just as much as they remember Harari, because she's like the next up-and-coming Harari. They're working in tandem. It's important that we understand that. But she just talked about this stuff. If you want to check that out, if you haven't seen it, Tom and I just talked a lot about that. And then go back, and me and Pete talked about it as well. So if you want to see what's going on as far as Nita Farahani and all this stuff, Pete and Tom, I had both of them on to talk about this stuff. Check them out if you haven't. It's also familiar because of this guy, everybody's favorite guy.
You're a neuroscience company, and you're working to build basically an interface to the brain.
Yeah. Electrode to neuron interface at a micro level.
Okay, what is it? Like, I'm gonna have like a plug in my head that's gonna fit into a hard drive? Like, or how does that work?
Yeah. A chip and a bunch of tiny wires.
This would be implanted surgically. And it would do what? Could you input? Could you download Jim?
Yes.
Well, what
The long-term aspiration for Neuralink would be to achieve a symbiosis with artificial intelligence, and to achieve a sort of democratization of intelligence, such that it is not monopolistically held in a purely digital form by governments and large corporations.
basically an effort for man to merge with machine in
Yes.
a healthy way.
Yes.
To beat machines, you basically have to merge with machines.
Most likely, yes. Essentially, how do we ensure that the future constitutes the sum of the will of humanity? And so if we have billions of people with a high bandwidth link to the AI extension of themselves, it would actually make everyone hyper smart.
To beat the machines, you have to become one with the machines. I just want to throw that in there. We know what Musk is up to. We know who he works for and what he's developing, but I just want to throw that in there just as a reminder that he's just as much a part of this as they all go. So ARPA-H, we got this going on because we know it's about using biometrics and brain data and whatnot in the name of health, but they're doing some other stuff. ARPA-H sits within the National Institutes of Health, and allowed a budget increase of over $51 billion. $51 billion for the National Institute of Health. That's a lot of money for that. What makes them different is that ARPA-H does not require peer review prior to approval. Handpicked project managers will make all funding decisions. So you know how like in the Restrict Act, handpicked people will choose who's a domestic terrorist in a foreign entity and can have their entire life removed? Well, it's the same thing with funding for this thing. So All they have to do is put in the project manager that they want, that they know is going to approve everything that needs to flow just perfectly along with the agenda, and the funding will go through no problem. No peer review. So if you want somebody in there that might be, a hitch in the cog, I can't remember the exact term, but a hitch in the cog and kind of slow things down and maybe stop something from going through. No, not for this. Not for this. Nope. You get no say. You get no say. They're advancing this stuff to the point where you get no say. We've been seeing a lot of that lately. Okay, here we go. Starting back in 2019, ARPA H. Starting back in 2019, it was proposed to Trump through former vice chair of General Electric and former president of NBC Universal, Robert Wright. All right, so we know Trump is involved with this. Game to be played, I'm telling you. All three, Trump, Wright, and Biden, because all three are in this, have concealed the purpose of this system. So all three of them continue to throw out, oh, it's about curing cancer. But all three of them know that it's not about that. Originally pitched as Safe Home, which stands for Stopping Aberrant Fatal Events by Helping Overcome Mental Extremes, the goal was to vacuum mass private data from Apple Watches, Fitbits, Amazon Echoes, and Google Home, and other things like it, as well as medical records to determine if an individual would likely commit a crime. Pre-crime. This is about getting data for pre-crime, reading people's brains. Oh, that's right. Nita Farahani was just talking about that. Interesting. That's an interesting connection that we've got there. That data would then be analyzed via AI programs for neuropsychiatric diagnosis. So it's not even going to be read and diagnosed by humans. No, they're going to use AI for it. Are you seeing that connection? Everything is all connected. All the dots connected to each other. Yeah. This would be an invasive extension of the Department of Justice pre-crime DEEP program. Raise your hand if you've ever heard of the DEEP program by the Department of Justice. DOJ DEEP program, which is their pre-crime program. Yeah? I don't think a lot of people have. Well, that program, Department of Justice pre-crime DEEP program, was implemented by William Barr, who is another deep state actor, and he was a nomination of Trump. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and throw that out there again because I really want people to know that he is wrapped up in all this stuff. So William Barr, that was his program, his pre-crime DEEP program. The DEEP program was activated in 2019, months before Trump left office, and was a way for total online surveillance to allow pre-crime arrests. It's still today going on today. Like I said, all three of them, Trump, Wright, and Biden, were all in on this thing. And it's still going on today. The DEEP program, like I just said, is for a way for total online surveillance to allow pre-crime arrests. So you're talking about warrantless online surveillance to allow pre-crime arrests. The public only knew it as a program to stop mass shootings before they happen. So we just talked about with the online verification bills that they're pushing through, it's about protecting the children. We just talked about with the Restrict Act, it's about banning TikTok. Well, this pre-crime arrest DEEP program was all about stop mass shootings before they happen. You see the game? I can't spell it out any more obvious than that. That's the game being played. Market it as something that people will accept, and then put all the dirty work underneath and hide it from them. That's what's going on with this. Aspects of Safe Home, Wright's original pitch, rolled out quietly until the full monster of ARPA H was initiated. Boom, it's here. Yeah, one of the key guys on HARPA is Jeffrey Ling, who is a former head of DARPA's Biological Technologies Office. So we're talking about how HARPA is just like DARPA. Well, they got the same biological technology dude from DARPA to help lead HARPA program. Ling, according to the original proposal by Wright, would help design the entire agency, which he did. He's not listed on the website. I don't know if he's still involved. My guess is he is. He's just doing it quietly. Ling's work in DARPA included biology, engineering, and computer science to harness natural systems for national security. There's that security word again. When peace and security comes, when people are saying peace and security, destruction will come. ARPA-H is in full coordination with Silicon Valley companies as we saw 2020 push in the digital realm. Here we go with the connection of Silicon Valley to ARPA-H. 2020 allowed companies like Microsoft, Google, and Amazon to become full contractors with the U.S. intelligence and begin unleashing, here we go, and begin unleashing digital healthcare like telemedicine and remote monitoring, etc., things and the like. So here we go with the convenience thing. Everybody was locked down. Most people were forced to go digital and online to get medical stuff checked out. Where did all that information go? Oh, that's right. That's right. They took it. Amazon released their Halo band, interesting name, Halo band that is able to monitor not only physical stuff, but it's able to track the wearer's emotional state. Remember the Deep program and the safe home thing and ARPA-H? It's all about monitoring health or mental health and brain data and all that stuff. That's what Amazon's Halo thing does. Oh, interesting. That's interesting. The Halo thing, also works in tandem with Amazon, who bought PillPack, an online pharmacy, in 2019. So you're seeing the intertwining of technology, data, and pharmacy, along with Silicon Valley and the United States and the WEF. It's all intertwined. Is that starting to connect dots? I hope it is. If not, that's a whole lot of coinky-dink. I mean, coinky-dink, minimal coinky-dink alone is not enough for me, but that's a whole lot of coinky-dink to think that it's coinky-dink. I mean, that's a big coinky-dink, I'm just saying. This is only a couple things from Amazon that connects to ARPA-H's programming. Take into account all other Silicon Valley initiatives and purchases in the medical field. We're seeing a lot of stuff from Google, Microsoft, Amazon, all these big companies. They're getting involved with pharmaceutical and medical stuff. It's just interesting. So when you see all that stuff, you know this has been being worked on for a while. Then you had 2020 come along and everything. Well, here we go. Time to launch it. Get telemedicine, get everybody on online doctors, everybody order their stuff from online pharmacies. Make sure you wear these wearable things so we can monitor your physical health while we also monitor your brain data at the same time. No, don't worry. It's to stop mass shootings. This isn't about, what we're trying to do. No. DARPA and ARPA-H and Silicon Valley has been working on variations of the Internet of Bodies wearables, implantables, and consumables to provide 24/7, 365 full biometric monitoring, including brain data. This is a WEF agenda that's been pushed, especially in the WEF, shaping the future of the Internet of Bodies, July 2020 briefing paper. I've got the cover of this thing. If you're interested, it's in this thing. The WEF, shaping the future of the Internet of Bodies, new challenges of technology governance, briefing paper, July 2020. Interesting time for that. In this, It says an unprecedented number of sensors attached to, implanted within, or ingested into human bodies to monitor, analyze, and even modify human bodies and behavior. Modify human bodies and behavior. That's a whole lot of quinky dink. And we see this confirmed with people like Harari and Farahani. Here's some quotes from both of them. I'm not going to tell you which ones they're from, but they're from both of them. We're no longer mysterious humans, but hackable animals. We can already read the brain data that the person is seeing in faces, numbers, and even the PIN of your own bank account. We can send pain to a person's brain neuropathically. People will give up freedom for health care. Those are some quotes by both Harari and Farahani. I'm not going to tell you which one said what. But all of that matches up with the WEF agenda, that matches up with ARPA-H, which matches up with the safe home, which matches up with everything. All in the name of national security and healthcare. They're using fear. They're using fear. The fear of your health and the fear of national security to push this all through. And it's important to understand, as Christians, as believers, we have absolutely nothing to fear, including death. We have absolutely nothing to fear whatsoever, no matter the time and the trial that we're in right now and what's coming. We have nothing to worry about. We know Jesus Christ is going to pull us out before this stuff gets really bad, like hell on earth bad. Literal hell on earth bad. But we don't have to worry about anything. So much so that even Paul tells us we can not only not fear death, we can taunt it. Because our Savior beat it. Beat it to a pulp where it can't touch us. Because we are sealed by the hands of Christ and the Holy Spirit. And we get to that point, if you have not accepted the Lord, if you still have fear of what's coming, if you don't want to go through literal hell on earth, and you want to accept the gift that Jesus Christ gave to us, it's as simple as ABC. Remember earlier when I was talking about it's childlike faith? He made it simple because children run to him. They are trusting of him. There's no confusion whatsoever. It's so simple that a child will have faith in it. ABC, if you want to join the family of God, if you want your soul to be held by the one and only one, the Almighty One that can hold it and protect it and save it. You start with A, which is admit that you're a sinner. In order to believe, you have to have a heart of repentance, of knowing that you need a Savior. You can believe in Jesus all you want, but if you don't believe that you need a Savior to take your sin away, that's not full trust. That's not full belief. So that's the first part of repentance, is admitting that you need a Savior, that you've messed up, you're not good, you are wretched, that you are sinful, and that you need a Savior. B, you believe in Jesus Christ. You believe that he is the one and only Son of God. You believe that he came down 100% man, 100% God, lived a perfect life, died on the cross in your place, in our place, and rose again on the third day. You believe in all your heart that he is who he says he is, and he did what he said he did. And then C, as you call upon the Lord, I attach this to the prayer that you ask the Lord to come into your heart. You say, Lord Jesus, come into my life and save me. You are calling upon the Lord. And that's it. We are saved by his grace, by his mercy, by his love, through our faith in him. No works to be done, no works to be had. You just come to him with a heart of repentance and a belief that he is who he is, and he said, and he did what he did. And that's it. It's a simple gift. And guess what? You've got nothing to fear. Absolutely nothing to fear. All the stuff that we talked about, all that scary doom and gloom, all that horrific stuff that we just talked about, that they're going to have to worry about on the other side, we don't have to worry about that. No. Because Jesus is going to come get us soon. Very soon. So I urge you, if you do not have the Lord yet, do it. ABC. That's simple. If you have questions, you need help, email me. I got my email in the description of every video, every live stream. Contact me if you need some help. I got your back. You know why? 'Cause I love you. 'Cause I love you. Not as much as the Lord loves you, though. That's not possible, but yeah. All right, guys, that's all I got. I'm done. That's done with my spiel. If you join the family of the Lord, though, congratulations. So glad to have you here. So glad to have you here. So, all right, guys. Yeah, so that's it. That's it. I managed to get it done relatively quick. We're a little over time. I apologize. I know that was a lot of information. That's why we've got replay. If you want to go back and listen to something over again, you can do that. But yeah, so usual spiel, like, share, subscribe. Again, if you can, get this out to as many people as you can. Not about butts and seats, not about views, but it is about getting the gospel out to as many people as possible. Getting people to Jesus and Jesus to the people. That's why we do this. Also, follow me, Rebel Odyssey Telegram. All good stuff, backup channels, and make sure you're on my Rumble, because every once in a while I throw an exclusive on there that I can't get away with on YouTube. It's not very often, but I do it. And then Rumble will be the main one if YouTube does kick me off. Telegram, of course, updates, news things, funny stuff, anything in between, all your bits, bobs, and gizmos and gadgets and stuff. It's all on there. So follow me on there as you can. And then if the Lord leads you to, if he places it upon your heart, I've got donation links down below if you want to come up next to this ministry and support me. I've got links down below, CashApp, Venmo, and Give, Send, Go down below. I truly appreciate that more than you know. I try to make sure people understand that. So I thank you for that. Remember, Watchtower on Saturday, same time. So it'll be the same time, just Saturday night. And then next Tuesday, I got Mr. Pabs. I don't know why I said Pabs, it's Pobs. Mr. Pabs, Pablo from Serpents and Doves, he'll be joining me. We'll be talking about the naked communist and the spiritual aspect of it and what's going on today. So join us for that. All right, guys, I'm going to leave you here. That's all I got. I'm all talked out. Good to see you guys. And if the Lord has not come back by Saturday, wow, I got to change that up. If the Lord has not come back by Saturday, same time, same place, we'll be here doing what we do. Lord Jesus, please come soon, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace out, Maranatha.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.